I don't want these. Take them back.
On my way home, I saw a box moving. I thought they were kittens, but they were babies. Bill wanted his own kids until he heard about allowance. The ultrasound showed we were expecting triplets. Bill wasn't there when I woke up. He left us. Only Nick supported me by giving me a raise, but I devoted every spare minute to my kids. Nick went pale when he saw my baby's thigh. Pregnant with twins, his wife ran off with a lover. The DNA test proved they were his kids. My triplets got invited to advertise kid leashes, and Bill decided he wanted famous kids. I was afraid he'd take custody from a single mom. I can't accept this kind of help from you. That help was love. That's how our story began. How many kids can you have to be a good mom?
This one's mine. I'm not taking the other one.
My husband accidentally pushed me in the pool while reversing. The gardener saved me and gave me mouth to mouth.
So that's what you do while I work my butt off?
Kyle was sure I cheated, especially when he learned I was pregnant. To my fear and shock, I had mixed twins.
Let's avoid this shame. This son's mine. That boy goes to a kid's home.
I refused to sign my son away, and Kyle kicked me out. You can crash at my place and we'll figure something out. We found Kyle's mom in a nursing home. He was ashamed of her social status. Once he saw a dark baby, he wanted to hype as a victim. Kyle had swapped the DNA material to falsify the test results. Kyle's mom lives with us and helps with her grandkids. People called out Kyle for racism. Now he's canceled. Have you been accused of cheating when your baby didn't look like the dad? The flight attendant checked my son in as luggage. My son vanished from the plane. My mom kicked me off the plane. Because of his words, I lost my parental rights. I snuck in through the window to my son. I didn't mean you. That was my real mom. I didn't abandon my son. She kidnapped him because she was barren. Now, we need money for emergency surgery. While Reese was collecting donations, I got arrested. The hospital said Reese refused Nick's surgery.
We geolocated Reese. She's on vacation in the Maldives.
We were supposed to go after Nick, but I decided to stay. Reese put him in the luggage compartment. The cop spent his entire savings on Nick's surgery. As soon as Nick recovered, we flew on vacation. The flight attendant was the evil Reese again. This time, she was arrested. My husband saw to it. What adventures have you had on planes? Mom suggested we play hide and seek. It's for your own safety. I'll be back soon. But she tricked me and disappeared for 2 days. A stranger hoisted me, but Mom wasn't around. I'm your dad. She's not coming anymore. I saw Mom running toward me. Then everything went dark. I woke up in the hospital, and there stood a policeman. Suddenly, another woman ran up to me and started kissing me. My daughter! My darling, you're alive! Then there he was. My daddy I'd been afraid of all my life.
The DNA test shows Mr. and Mrs. White are Emma's parents.
Gwen was Dan's insanely jealous ex-wife. When he remarried a couple of years later, and then had Emma, Gwen stole the stroller as payback. She vanished with the girl, then suggested to Dan by text. On one business trip, Dan noticed Gwen following him. He stealthily followed her and found the well. Now Emma is with her real parents, and Gwen is facing prison.
You'll pass the syndrome on to our son. But the doc saw abnormalities in the fetus. It's either me or a defective baby. He spent the night at work. I brought his stuff. Doctors gave no promises. I prayed for a miracle. And then I saw that boy. His name was Lee. He was an orphan and hadn't eaten since his mom died. I gave birth to my son. He was perfectly healthy. He's healthy. I'm taking my firstborn. Social services advised getting rid of Lee. My income would then be enough for one kid. And then my son brought me the sun cookies. We baked 1,000 suns and went to the fair. The stranger wanted to pay $5, but Lee refused. No need. It's free for friends. He took his checkbook and drew a check for $10,000. His money helped me win my son and my house back. Do you think all children are a blessing?
Daddy put Mommy to sleep for 3 months. You cheated again. Enough! I'm divorcing you! Dad yanked the wheel. Mom covered me with her body.
She died while trying to save you. You killed her.
Not believing him, I began to learn how to read. It really wasn't my mom's name. At dawn, I sneaked out and put up posters all over. Help me find my mom. Big reward. The caller found my mom. She was alive.
She's like Sleeping Beauty. No waking her up.
Kiss Mom like a prince would. She'll wake up.
Here's a beauty. Your mom's not waking up.
I came to say goodbye. I'll die in the morning. Dad turned off the machine, keeping Mom alive. I overcame my fear and climbed down the tree. I got there on time. Doc held the power cord. My prayer and kiss woke my mom up. Love dies without kisses. You agree? Dad shouldn't know I'm a girl.
If you can have babies, you'll marry him.
But at the engagement party, I threw up on the groom. The next morning, I realized I was pregnant. Every day I hid my belly so Dad wouldn't guess. But the preparations took too long, and I went into labor at the altar.
You promised me an innocent bride, and the deal's off.
The delivery was tough, but my daughter was healthy.
You're not ready to be a mom. I'm taking my granddaughter.
Dad left my baby, and she might have fallen on the floor.
You just caused trouble. It's time to end it. Get your hands off them and back away. Don't make things worse.
That's when the cops burst in. My savior was the nephew of the nasty fiancé Dad found. Dad forged my parental rights papers. And he'll go to prison with his accomplice. Would you marry for money instead of love?
Cashier's kids are treated last.
He needs costly surgery to survive.
Give me your voice and I'll pay for the surgery.
Felicia quickly became a star. One day, my son relapsed out of stress. I lost my voice before Felicia's big concert. Next morning, she canceled our health insurance. When my voice returned, the city was all in posters. A singing contest had a huge first place prize. But I knew I'd just freeze and embarrass myself. That's when I decided to hide from prying eyes. They recognized the voice and thought it was my sis.
Get lost, fraud! There's only one Felicia.
I tripped over a cable, killing Felicia's recording. Everyone heard her creaky, out-of-tune singing. Everyone realized who sang their favorite songs. I cured my boy with the prize money. Has anyone taken credit for what you did? My mom-in-law was my bodyguard. I was nearly killed on my first day at work. I hired an ex-boxer to protect me. I checked this food. Eat. Teresa nearly killed me instead of saving me. I'll make sure you never get between me and my son.
Honey, my mom died 30 years ago. You've been to her grave.
Something was off, so I ran a DNA test.
The hair samples belong to unrelated people. I wanted to find you, my boy. At last, we're together.
30 years ago, I had a son and sent him to an orphanage. You! I decided to get rid of the woman keeping us apart. You're not related. I have the DNA test to prove it.
You look like an actor I hooked up with in a bar in the 80s.
I was greatly relieved after my bodyguard was arrested. Soon, my husband will become my licensed protector.
My husband shaved his legs to take my kids from me. I couldn't save the couple, but I saved their kids. Ethan agreed to it, so I brought the kids home. That same day, he tossed me divorce papers. Ethan made a video of me abusing children. I was watching the tape carefully, and suddenly, I saw an unshaved man's leg with a mole that looked like Ethan's. I took all the evidence to court, but Ethan wouldn't give up. These are my biological children. Their parents did IVF. The judge announced the results. Ethan wasn't the father, but I was their mom. I became an egg donor because Ethan wanted me to pay the mortgage. You're looking for a man with 2 kids, but you need to look for a woman. Ethan got his sentence, and I finally got my kids. Now we're connected both by love and blood.